I just want to yap because apparently I'm a person who loves to yap. Um, but you know, I'm not preparing any scripts. I'm not even planning to do this video. I just want to get unready, and I was thinking to myself, it must be fun to have a yapping session while I get unready, and probably people will listen to me, and if not, it's also okay. Um, but I don't know, I feel like I don't really like my makeup today, but it's all experimental, and it's okay that you do not like how you look once in a while. At the end of the day, it's you. Nobody can take it from you. And if you already dislike it yourself, nobody can dislike it for you. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm going to go unready. I'm not going to show you when I'm washing my face because it's a little bit of a hassle. But along the way, I will talk about something that is currently becoming part of my routine, and something that is very much of my observation. So I'm not, because again, I'm not preparing a script. Anything that I said is purely subjective. There is no data that I'm providing except for my own observation. So anyway, I'm hoping that you are interested about this topic as much as I am, and this is what I love about people. So since I'm currently having my internship somewhere far from my home, but it's still in Java, um, I have been taking, I cannot say public transportation because this is private owned, but I'm taking bus almost every morning now, and then I'm taking afternoon shift, and I'm commuting from my place, so I will walk from the place where I stay for around 5 minutes to the bus stop, literally beside the big road. So this is like a very informal, illegal, semi-illegal, because there is no bus stop sign at all as far as my observation. So they just stop usually after the traffic light. Sometimes they block people along the way, but yeah, that's where many people are actually getting on and off the bus. So the buses here are actually the most affordable transportations that anyone could take from the city to Surabaya, because it's actually near Surabaya. So every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, sometimes, especially in the morning, they will come and pick you up on the big road. And because of that, I've also noticed that a lot of the buses that I took were very, very, I don't know how to say, they're very uncareful about the driving and anything. The safety is hazardous, like literally it's a safety hazard. Everything, probably, like, not just the drivers, sometimes maybe also the seats. And the roads here are, there are a lot of big holes that can actually like let you to to the hospital because of it. But anyway, I have noticed that we are lacking so much in public transportation that the only available public transportation here is the commuter train. And the commuter train is only available for like 3 sessions in a day, like 2 in the morning and then one more like sometime on the afternoon. It was actually very affordable. It ranges from like 4,000 Indonesian rupiah to 13,000 Indonesian rupiah. So it's actually very affordable, but they're actually kind of far as well from where the civilization is, because like real road is not supposed to like be placed just anywhere. It has to be safe and far from like people, so people are not getting murdered when the train is coming, and so on and so forth. But yeah, like the amount of transportation options here therefore drives people to actually own their own transportation. And here most of the people own like bicycle, electric bicycle, motorcycle. I don't even know why they should create like an electric bicycle when we already have motorcycles so that they can charge it. But it's basically almost the same, and people are like not wearing safety helmet as well when they're taking the electric bicycle. Cars are actually very scarce. Not a lot of people in the villages have cars. It's actually only for those who are very privileged and kind of rich in the around here. So I also saw like a lot of elders living here, and a lot of people really depends and they really need public transportations. But I feel like I don't know why it's actually very scarce, and the government is not trying to provide those public transportations. The only available public transportations along the road, except for the bus, is like a mini bus for the students to actually like commute from their home to the school around here, which is okay, which is very good, and they provide it for free. It said gratis, bus pelajar gratis, and because I'm not a student anymore, I cannot take it for free anymore, so I also never stop and never take it anyway. So that's just my observation. But what's fun is taking buses is pretty much a humbling experience for me, because ever since I was younger, every time I went to school, I almost never took public transportation. My first experience to take public transportation is when I have grown older, probably around senior high school, and I only took them whenever I'm trying to spend time from my place to Jakarta using the commuter line. And therefore as well, because public transportation is currently widely available around Jakarta, I have found myself growing fond of taking public transportations, and it's actually very convenient as well. It's very available and people are currently depending on it a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna pause because I'm gonna wash my face for a while and I will come back to do my skincare routine. Okay, so I'm back. I just washed my face and I forgot what I said last time, so I literally have to play the video back. And okay, I know what I'm trying to talk next. So with the growing dependence on the public transportation, it makes me wonder, what about the people outside Jakarta whose public transportation is actually not developing that much? I don't understand the ministry of the, I don't know how to translate it in English, the ministry that took care of the connection and everything, the commuting from one place to another. I feel like I understand now as I am working that some people just cannot afford to live close to the place that they're working, so they really depend on any mode of transportations. But sadly, what is currently available in Indonesia are mostly private, even those that is owned by individuals. Even the online motorcycle pickup, which is ojek, that is very Indonesian. It's private owned and everybody depends on it. And even ojek can be very unaffordable for a lot of people as well, because the gasoline price is up, even those that are subsidized. And for those who wants to take the subsidy, they have a lot of requirements that they have to take. They have to register for that as well. So I feel like when people say that the growth of Indonesia is actually already good, they're actually delusional, because a lot of people still cannot afford the public transportations. But I don't really want to talk about those a lot, and the data are very abundant, I'm hoping, or just from the experience from one person to another who are living outside of Jakarta. I have stated this to my friend once. I feel like Indonesia the only part of Indonesia that they're growing is only in Central Jakarta. And I stand by that. Not even in West Jakarta, it's equal to like the central of Jakarta. It's literally so left behind. I don't even understand how the government is actually planning those development. Why only like one city? Not even just one city, it's like one part of the city that is growing while the other is not. How can the people even in the city living in slums while the other live in like a very luxurious apartment which costs like 35 billion? And an apartment that costs 35 billion, that doesn't make any sense. But the opportunity to actually explore the available transportation here is very humbling for me. So one time, it's not long ago, it was like 2 days ago. What day is it today? Yeah, on Friday. I had my night shift. Not my night shift. I had my afternoon shift. And so I had my shift from 2 to 9 p.m. in my primary health care where I'm being placed. And it took actually around 15 to 20 minutes to commute from my place to my workplace and back and forth. And because I don't really want to spend my money on ojek, I decided to take a bus, a night bus from, well, luckily my workplace is literally beside the big road, so I just need to go across the street, and I took the bus. I waited for 20 minutes under the rain. When it's very dark, I was kind of worried that the bus might go past me, so I will have to wait for another 20 minutes to get home. But yeah, luckily my friend lent me an umbrella, so I waited under the tree, under the umbrella. No, that's not the way to word it. I waited under my umbrella that is also under the tree for like around 20 minutes under the moonless sky, raining, semi-flooded. But yeah, after 20 minutes the bus came. I saw a lot of elderly take off the bus. There are probably around two of them. One of them is a grandpa, one of them is the grandma, and it was raining. They didn't bring any umbrella, and the other one is a productive age man, so I don't really worry about him. But I realized that the majority of people who depend on the transportation is not just the productive age. It's also those elderlies who are probably still commuting from one place to another, or those who are still productive. Maybe there are sellers on the market. Sometimes they bring a lot of vegetables on their bags. I don't know where they're actually going to and where did they got picked up. But I feel so sad because those people do not have access to a lot of facilities as well, and they just want to live, and the only way to live is through inconvenience. So that was actually very humbling, but it was also a very human experience to have that connection under the rain with your clothes wet, and you just got home tired and everything, but the bus is having no AC. The bus smells like smoke. Sometimes they just drove really, really chaotically from like one row from the left to the right, and they're just trying to get past by the cars in front. So it was like actually really dangerous. But those are the only available transportations available here, and those are all private owned. And whenever the government is failing to protect the public, so the private company will only focuses on whatever they can do to generate as much profit as possible. and that's why it often includes those bus to drive really fast because they have to give the money to their bosses. I feel like it's so sad in a country that is currently inviting a lot of investors, in a country that is so big, so widely diverse. The government just don't really care about how their people is commuting. It's almost like they don't even care if they live or not when they really depend on transportations. And I feel like it's almost very seldom to see any buses, whether I took it in the morning, whether I take it also in the afternoon or at the evening, that it's empty. There are always a lot of people inside, probably like minimum of 15 to 20, and probably who has already gotten off in another places before I go into the bus. So yeah, like people are actually really dependent on public transportations, and I don't even know where to begin and how to advocate those public transportation for people. It was probably like a privilege, a huge privilege to own your own car, but it's not even without any challenges, not even without any cost, because gasoline's price is very high. The monopoly, well, it's not really a monopoly, it's almost like a monopoly of the gasoline company, which makes a lot of people in Java, in other places, really depends only on this place. And when this place is problematic and they are corrupt, then who else can we actually depend on our lives to? I know that we can depend on God, but also God gave us a lot of heart, like a big heart to actually help one person and another. So I really don't understand what the government is actually working on, because it has been 25 years of my life, and I feel like the available transportation is not even reaching the other part outside of Jakarta. You know, not even in South Tangerang I see a lot of public transportation. The public transportation available is only the one, the most convenient one is the one that took us from South Tangerang to Jakarta. Everywhere links to Jakarta that is convenient. But if you want to go to outside of Jakarta, don't even think about it. Don't even think about convenience. Just, do your own business. So it's such a shame, because I really love public transportation, and I am very privileged that my parents still have access to their own private car that I can borrow from time to time. Sometimes I still can also pay for ojek, whether it's the car or the motorcycle. But for a lot of people, even 25K is actually very expensive, and they can spend it on their lunch and dinner. So yeah, I just want to yap about those conditions that are very concerning, because how can people actually grow? How can they grow to become better? How they can grow to become richer, quote unquote, or they want to level up their socio-economic status if they don't even have the facilities to afford those, unless they have a really crazy hardworking mindset, which is only once in probably like 1,000 people. And access to transportation is as much as a basic needs for everyone, as basic as an access to housings, to health, and also to like food security. So yeah, that's what I've been feeling. And anyway, thank you for listening to my yap. I don't think that this will bring any value. I just want to yap because I'm bored. But what about you? What is your opinion on public transportations? Are you those people who depend on public transportation as well? I think I've been saying public transportation a lot. I don't know if there is another synonyms for that. The government provided buses. But yeah, if you have access to good public transportation in your city, you are very, very lucky. And I hope they're not being taken away from you. Just like how those beautiful public transportation was taken away from me when I still stayed in Bali. But I hope they're bringing it back because like the latest new, they're trying to bring back the red buses. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. I'll see you next time. Maybe. Bye.